I'm wiping the camera. I feel like it's not clear. Okay, this works. Hello my loves. Hello. Hi, welcome to day 3 of Wealth Consciousness Challenge. How are you? How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you enjoying the journey? Are you enjoying the challenge? Let me know. Okay. Okay, don't be distracted. I am going to be looking on my side just so I don't forget anything. I want us to have all the juice and talk all things and really be activated by being part of this journey, this challenge. So yes, I wrote a few notes for us so that I can just keep checking if we're all good. Okay, so where's my water? Okay, here's my water. Okay, so day one of our challenge, we talked about the need to return to your divine self and actively be a co-creator within your wealth, and doing that by allowing yourself to release everything that is not true or that is false within how you were taught to think about money and perceive wealth, within how you were taught to approach issues of money. So that was day 1. And then day 2, yesterday we went through the 5 key elements that will accelerate your organic expansion within business, right? So you have released some of the distortions, and you are now having the elements and applying them, or at least one of them. The assignment was to start applying one of them. Hi, say hello as soon as you join me. And now you have these 5 key elements. You are working on one of them in order to accelerate your organic growth within your business, right? Now, next level, you are making unfamiliar money, right? Within your business, opportunities are coming, money is starting to flow in, or now a bigger opportunity has come in because you've been doing the work, you've been putting in the work, and yeah. So today we're going to talk about the energetics of holding unfamiliar money, unfamiliar wealth. That thing you prayed for. You've been wanting your financial breakthrough. You've been wanting financial expansion. And now it has happened. Let's imagine it has happened. All right. So I'm going to be taking you through that. The energetics of holding. I always say it is easier to receive, but to hold is another level of responsibility. It's another realm. Honestly, when it comes to money. So a lot of times you'll realize that people don't have a lot of challenges receiving the money. Issues come up when now they need to hold and grow the money. So this is the unfamiliar money. Okay, so a little bit of a story. I grew up in a small family. I'm from a small family. We're just 5, right? I grew up with just 2 of my siblings. I'm the last one. And my mom and dad, right? And one of the ways in which I perceived money was that money comes once a month. And this is because both my parents had 8 to 5 jobs, right? We didn't have a business. So most of the time I witnessed money after a period of time, which would be 28 days, 30 days. Although I may not have been conscious of like what day is it as a child, there is where I knew that there comes a period when there's money, and then we spend this entire time where there's not really a lot of money, right? So that was the narrative that I held for the longest time. Money comes once a month, money comes after 30 days. Now, when I stepped into the work that I do, my business, I can tell you that there was a big part of me that resisted the idea of people paying me anytime. I resisted the idea of someone just booking me any time of the month, any time of the week, any time of the day. And isn't that what business is? Business is being able to have money access you anytime, right? Business is a journey. Entrepreneurship is a journey of the unfamiliar, the unexpected. You won't know when sometimes you'll have the money, and if it's really doing well, more money will come. So I had this struggle, and I can tell you this was my introduction to tapping into an unfamiliar territory, an unfamiliar realm when it comes to money creation, right? Think about it, like with business, you can be making 1,000 today, and then 6 months from now your business has expanded so much that you're making 100,000. This is possible, like zoop. But it's uncapped income, so anything is possible. I usually say to people, like, if you're someone who live streams, like I do live streams at times, and you would have your expected maybe 10 people or 5 people. Now imagine you were to wake up and then one day you actually have 10,000 people all at once in your live stream. I swear, I think there's some nude pic of mine in the internet, right? It would shock you. Like, what? Where are they coming from? If you didn't see that growth, it could shock you to a point where even the internet would just shut. Like, what? Now, here's the thing. This is no different when it comes to our money. When we experience money that we are not familiar with, this would be like, for example, if the frequency in which we receive money increases, whereby you are used to making money once a month and then you move to making money every week or every day, right? When we move to making a certain amount of money, and then all of a sudden you sign a big deal and there's large amounts of money. Or sometimes you are gifted with money that you were not expecting, like a large sum of money. It could be also a bonus. When that happens, there is where our nervous system, our body, our spiritual senses, our emotions, our emotional body gets to be impacted and also gets to be shocked by this experience at different levels, right? So the impact of the shock happens in different planes at different levels because of the unfamiliar money, right? If the opposite of what you were used to was to happen. So if you think about it, throughout the experiences of maybe our childhood, where, for example, you used to know that, I have money once a month, or sometimes you had a business in your family and you knew that, okay, so everyday money comes in, and also sometimes mom or dad asks me to count the coins, or you were that child who would count the family money business, or maybe you could sell at the tech shop. Every interaction that you had with money at that time, there is where your nervous system learned to regulate itself, right? So your nervous system regulated itself based on the experiences that you've had with money, based on the way you have interacted with wealth, right? Throughout your life. And in doing so, it created a coping mechanism of like, okay, so this is how I deal with money. So when you tap into the unfamiliar money, it's like, oh, I do not know this. What is happening? And sometimes you may go into panic mode, where your entire system or these systems go into defense mode. And the point is to love and protect you, right? How can I best protect myself? What I see with a lot of people, this is the time when now they give away a lot of money. They give away, they sometimes offer discounts. They sometimes have a lot of emergencies that are going to create a lot of spending. Hoarding is a thing sometimes when you hold on too much money, right? So I'm going to explain what is happening in different planes, starting with, the mental plane, right? Starting with the mental plane, I'll go into the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual. But as I do so, I want you to understand, it's not that these happens at different times. Actually, when you are tapping into unfamiliar money or unfamiliar wealth, all these planes simultaneously have their own experiences. So what I'm going to do is break it down for you, what is happening with your nervous system, your mental plane, and then move on to the emotional, the spiritual, and then the physical as well, right? Yes. So we've spoken a bit about what really happens with your nervous system, which is the mental plane, where you find that because you're on your nervous system is protecting you from something that is unfamiliar, you overspend sometimes. You become the SOS of the family, where people, if they want money, they know they can come to you for solutions. Like, I know I'll get a quick loan from there, the lender of the family. You become the hoarder sometimes because you are holding on to this, because there's a part of you that feels like, what if this is just a once-off thing, right? What if this is a once-off thing and it's never going to happen again? I've won this big deal, or I have this big money coming in. What if it's a once-off thing? So you hold on to it, right? When you go through these emotions, I want you to understand, when you have these thoughts of like witnessing how I feel like, what if this is a once-off thing? There is where also your nervous system is struggling to regulate. So the thoughts that pop up, usually they will feel like thoughts that are connecting with your emotions, right? Thoughts that are connected with the fear, some of the fears that are coming up for you. So hence why it's a simultaneous activity that is happening at that current moment. Now, when it comes to the emotional plane, here's the thing. The entrepreneurial journey, your business journey, it can sometimes be the most confrontational journey of your life. It is possible to sometimes feel a deep shame, where you feel misunderstood, where there's a part of you sometimes, even if you share your challenges, it feels like no one gets it. Can you relate to this? Where you feel like no one gets what I'm going through, Fear of judgment, because what if I fail and people witness my failure? Sometimes it's the guilt coming in that I'm spending less time with my family. All the things, right? So different emotions. And so because of the journey itself, what happens is that by the time you experience what we can call a financial breakthrough, where clients now start paying you, where now you are getting money lump sum, big deals are coming, opportunities are opening up. A lot of people tend to, one, tap into the emotion of 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 feeling guilty, right? Because wow, I'm the one who's making so much money, right? So it connects with, the act of overspending, right? Sometimes you can be so anxious, feeling that anxiety of feeling like, is this money going to be here for long? What's going to happen? The fear of the future for your for your finances and business, which can create a lot of hoarding, or sometimes creates a lot of overspending because you are getting rid of this money before it vanishes, because there is where, in connecting with the thought that this money may not be here, and now it triggers the emotion of anxiety, you end up giving it away, right? So this is the emotional plane. But I always say this: if you find yourself feeling like, oh my God, what if this is a once-off thing? What if this doesn't happen again? And you have stricken this deal of, you have had your financial breakthrough. I want you to also understand that it means that then there's a part of you that is separating from your own divinity. Remember, day one we talked about returning to your divinity of creation. You are separating from your own divinity because there's an aspect of you that's feeling powerless and not realizing that you created this money as well. That you were part of the co-creation between you, God, and universe. That it also took your energy. It took your prayers. So what you have manifested with this money, with this wealth that is coming in your business, you are also a part of it. So when you have fear that, oh my God, what if it doesn't happen again? Why is it me who has the money, and you're feeling guilty? Or the frustration, you have to understand that then you are separating from your divine self who is creating. And that can create you collapsing, right? Not being able to hold. You have received, but now the struggle to hold is being created by these different emotions that are coming up. So it's important to remind yourself that, oh my God, I put in the work, I prayed for this, I took the necessary action and the aligned action, and this is something, this opportunity or this money coming in, I was part of the game, I was part of the story. It was me, it was God, it was the universe. And so it's beautiful that I get to experience this. Interestingly, one of the things that I experienced early in my journey was that when I had my first client pay me a bigger lump sum, guys, within 24 hours, I went shopping, I took my mom to a restaurant, I blew that money because I was like, oh my God, someone is paying me for my gifts. Someone is paying me for something that comes so easy. So I found myself also experiencing these emotions where it's like, when I look back, I can see there is where my inner child wanted to go show mom that she has done well. To prove to mom that, mom, you see, it works. I have done all the things. It works. It works. To make money online works. And obviously that's my mother wound opening up, wanting to please mom, wanting mom to see me in a certain way. So yeah, so the emotional plane also gets triggered by the unfamiliar money. And these are some of the emotions that come up. Share with me if this is something you can relate to. If you realize that every time you have money, there's a certain emotion that you tapped into. Are you recognizing this, or is it something that you've been avoiding? What has been happening with you and money? Even if it's not a big amount of money, but it's like, okay, this is just not money that comes in regularly. What usually do you do, right? How do you witness yourself? Yes. Okay. Now, The thoughts are coming in, the emotions are there. What is happening in the spiritual plane? In the spiritual plane, you know, yesterday one of the key elements we talked about was, on day 2, one of the key elements we talked about what the energetics of, understanding the energetics of the masculine and the feminine, right? The masculine being the giver and the feminine being the receiver. What happens usually in the spiritual plane when we tap into the unfamiliar money or unfamiliar wealth, and you find that, for example, we're giving a lot of the money away or we're spending it, overspending it. Recognize then that it means that we step into the masculine. So we are giving. And now we separate from the very energetic that is holding our ability to receive, right? Which is the feminine. So we step into the giving and move away from the feminine or misalign the feminine. And in doing so, what we don't realize is that you are also collapsing your own energy that you could be using to hold. You're not basking in your receivingness, in your essence of feeling like, yes, more of this, right? You see, this connects to even the thought of saying, will this happen again? Spiritually, you're meant to be grounded in like more of this. I want to receive more of this. And therefore, stay within your receiving energy. But the minute you find that your quick reaction is like to give out the money, to pay the bills, to pay this, to pay that, notice and understand that then you are shifting the very energy that you're supposed to be in and receive more and more and more. And you are now giving off your energy and your ability to hold, because you're like, okay, masculine. Okay. So that's what happens spiritually. But more than anything, when we speak about sometimes our financial reality being similar to that of our family members. This was day 1, right? Where we realize because we're tapping into the same consciousness, the same beliefs, we then create almost the same reality. More than anything, spiritually, what is happening when you tap into the unfamiliar money, it feels like there is where you have broken the agreement, right? Now, in this moment, you are in disagreement with the way in which your family or your bloodline has been experiencing money. This is a very sensitive phase for a lot of people, right? For a lot of entrepreneurs, this is a very sensitive phase. Anyone who interacts with money, honestly, where having tapped into unfamiliar money, this is money that no one in your family has made, or no one in your family has the same experience of money like you are right now with your financial reality. You have stepped into disagreement with, like, in this family, we've always had the agreement that money is not enough. How are you experiencing overflow? In this family, we know that we earn only up to 50K. How are you getting deals that are worth million? So now, energetically and spiritually, you being in disagreement feels unsafe, right? So there is what we call an upper limit or financial upper limit, where you realize that people in a family, right, tend to have made an agreement around the amount of money they can have or hold, right? Obviously, this is a trauma-based experience. You can imagine, especially if you are of the black race or people of color, where our DNA did not always know money. and having money created unsafety for our people. So within your bloodline, there can be an agreement that in our family, this is the amount of money that we usually would make. So because of this energetic agreement, it creates a financial ceiling, right? A financial ceiling whereby even when you go to work, when you go to businesses, sometimes you still regulate that we'll only make this much. But most of the time, we are not aware of this agreement. It's only when you start noticing that, in my entire life, I have never ever made this amount of money. Or every time I make this amount of money, I tend to have a lot of emergencies or a lot of expenditures. It's like I can't break through. So when we speak about financial breakthrough, we're saying you are breaking through a cap, an energetic cap or energetic ceiling. Money that you have not experienced. And it takes energy, right? So in the spiritual plane, when you tap into the unfamiliar, basically, it can also symbolize that you have tapped into disagreement with your family members, with your bloodline. And if you were to just reflect on how, people usually treat other family members who they consider that they're rich, sometimes they like them, but sometimes they alienate them. They make them feel like, oh, this one from that family, we discriminate, right? It's because unconsciously they are being triggered by how you have created a life where you are in disagreement, right? They are triggered by how now you are rebelling against the beliefs that they have created around money, around wealth, and the experience that you are to have. But of course, they are not aware that this is the thing that's angering them. So this is why I always say, we don't actually fear having money, right? In fact, lack and scarcity sometimes is familiar. And scarcity being that maybe money and no love, money and no peace, or money not being there at all. We don't fear that. It's like, oh, that's a thing. It makes sense. But what we fear, and what you are probably fearing when your business starts making high amounts of money, and what you're probably fearing about monetizing your gifts and your skills, is that you will become the one, right? What you fear is becoming the one. The damn one who has made money. The damn one who has made so much money. Like, what? Who are you? So it's important to even offer yourself mercy when sometimes you experience chaos or a little bit of chaos within your money, especially when you are still building yourself up, building yourself to match the energetic range of your money. It's important to offer yourself that mercy because of what is happening spiritually, right? Now, physically, how the mental, the emotional, the physical will manifest. Wow. Physically, imagine that you have gone through all these, like the thoughts, what if this, that, the emotions, oh my God, why am I the only one who makes money? Or I feel guilty about this, or I'm frustrated and stressed. And you are also having gone through the spiritual, where there's a lot that is happening to you. All these three planes are interconnected. And because they're interconnected, there's a high chance that they will physicalize, right? This is why a lot of times people say, even just saying a bad word could manifest. So we talk about manifestation being like something that started in the spirit, something that has something to do with your thoughts, with your feelings, right? So even now, tapping into the unfamiliar, when you have not yet regulated yourself and money feels unfamiliar, then the physical reality of your money will match what is going on the other planes. So this will look like sometimes having emergencies like car breakdowns, your business, money is coming in, but tax now is an issue. You're having issues with documents. Some of the clients now eventually are giving you issues. So it's like, this is a point where it feels like you are collapsing the very thing that you should be celebrating. Sometimes for other people, lifestyle changes come in, you find yourself creating more debt than before. What is happening, right? And also, I always say this is the part where people need to differentiate what it means to have money and have riches and what it means to be wealthy. Because a mistake that entrepreneurs do, this is the time when they now create more of riches and not wealth. Riches being the lifestyle. I want to be seen on a boat drinking champagne. Not that there's anything wrong with this, but you should understand that if they are connected from the wounds from different planes, then you are not truly being in your divinity, right? Like, for example, if you're upgrading your lifestyle because you want to prove to people that, even you have made it, that's another level, right? Wanting to now be seen shopping at certain shops. This creates a lot of unhappiness for people where now you no longer have peace. It's like you meet the opposing forces of the very thing that you wanted, right? So riches would be that I want the expensive car, I want this dress, but then it has to go with this shoe, and then it has to go with this watch, all the things, and you keeping in this energy of wanting more and more and more, and from a lack-based mindset, right? While wealth in that moment, actually, you are not thinking about, okay, so now that I have the money, how can I grow it? How can I invest it? How can I elevate my business to create more of this in order for me to conquer that thought of feeling like, what if this comes once, right? So you'll find that wealth basically is your creating wealth is like your ability to regenerate money even without your presence, like without your physical presence, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in having a chain of retail shops, stocks, different investment products. I don't have to be there, but I can create passive income. So now that's another level of wealth, right? Wealth could also be wealth could also be you receiving endorsements, gifts, all the things. It's not only just limited to your business, but it takes a different form of energy, a different form of match. And it's something that will happen through the journey as you understand what is irrelevant for you, as you begin to understand alignment, as you begin to understand, the key things you need to be doing to expand and organically grow. Then wealth is something that will also generate. Wealth is something that becomes more accessible because now you are tapping more into your creation codes, right? So yes, the physical plane is about that. Interestingly, sometimes people actually get sick with the physical plane. What is happening on the physical plane is like, instead of you enjoying your money, sometimes it's not the lifestyle, sometimes it's you getting sick. There's a joke in my country where they like to say this is rich people diseases. Things like hypertension, depression. Especially back in the days, they used to say, oh, this is rich people diseases. And in as much as that was a horrible joke, it actually was true. Like, sometimes when money is so unfamiliar, physically you can get sick and you don't do the whole lifestyle thing, right? Now, having understood this, you are then going to realize that, oh wow, so this is why a lot of people hold back from actually monetizing their gifts or their skills or creating money in overflow. Unconsciously, there is that unsafety that comes up, right? The unsafety from these different planes that is happening in these different planes is creating the resistance that people have around really going in and fulfilling their desires to create more money, to create more wealth. And this is where the statement more money, more problems comes in, where people like to say more money, more problems. Oh, it's lonely at the top. It's because of what usually happens in the unfamiliar territory, right? Now the question is, how then do we hold what is unfamiliar, Nonofang? How do I hold this? How do I hold the unfamiliar money and the unfamiliar wealth? I'm on this journey. And my response to this is going to be multi-layered as well. To say that if creating money, you notice that it actually takes different planes to create money and wealth, especially in overflow, then it will also mean that in order for me to begin to hold unfamiliar money and gradually grow more into unfamiliar wealth, I'll need to have a multidimensional approach. Trust me, if there was a 10-step, I would be selling it now and being rich myself. Right? So the solution is also multi-layered. You'll find that, one, it's important to regulate your thoughts, to regulate your nervous system. Usually meditation is really helpful in this. Breath work is also very beautiful, especially when it comes to emotional processing, where you learn to acknowledge and witness your own emotions. Guys, prayer as well. Now you're bringing in the spiritual. Prayer, affirming your journey, affirmations, and really also learning to be in spaces where you actually also energetically grow. Learning to invest in yourself, right? Where you invest your time, where you invest your in relationships, where you invest the money that you have right now in things that could allow you to expand more and grow, right? Reading, studying universal laws, there is so much more. But the thing I've really seen do the work is doing the inner work. Start with the inner in order to change the outer. The inner has a larger impact on the outer, on the physical reality. The inner being doing the emotional work, working on the distortions, the beliefs that you're holding around money, and allowing them to fall off. This is the work that I do in money medicine work, where we pull in different dimensions of approaching money and wealth within your business. We don't ignore the practicals, but we also say the emotionals are important, the physical, the spiritual. So having desires is also a beautiful thing. Allow yourself to desire more. Some people do not want to dream more. They're afraid of even to allow themselves to dream. Own your desires. Desire, dream, pray about it. When you have a random negative thought, work with it, witness it. Where is it coming from? And see it as part of your growth. All these are part of your growth. If you have money, work on your boundaries, right? Have difficult conversations around money. Tell people the truth. Hi, I can't help you, but this is what I can do for you. And the evidence will show up in this way. What you used to think is such a big deal will eventually not be a big deal, because you'll be like, oh, I figured this out. There is everything in your life that used to be unfamiliar. In every one of us, there's something that used to be so unfamiliar. But today you look back and are like, I can't believe this used to be such a big deal. I can't believe this is something that stresses me, right? So progression, evolution, growth, right? There'll be a time when it takes you to create 100K and it takes 2 years. There'll be a time when it takes a day, because of your evolution, because of your growth, because of the process and your consistency. That's the beauty of learning to hold the unfamiliar. You don't get to fear it. In fact, you are like, okay, even if I collapse at day 1, day 2 is there, day 3, and I will learn to hold, and I'll keep learning. So therefore, God, it's okay. Keep taking me to areas that felt unfamiliar. Keep giving me opportunities that feel unfamiliar. Keep giving me that money. My bank account, keep receiving more of what is unfamiliar. And eventually it will become so familiar. It will become a thing, right? It's such a big deal for you to monetize your gifts, your skills, the things that feel natural to you, because they're also connected to your divine self. They are connected to your God self. So allow your God self to create in the way that he or she knows how, right? That's a big portal for wealth creation. A big, big portal. Okay. So, yes. Let me know what is coming up as you are listening to this conversation. To hold unfamiliar money and wealth is to hold what is true for you. It's to hold your becoming. It's to hold your union with the self. Right? Now you are in a state where you no longer rely on what you were told or what you were taught. You are now finding yourself within those things, right? You are finding yourself. You are finding your truth. You are remembering and awakening to the very worth that you were born with, to what God has always said about you, to say, you, my child, I will grant you according to your desires. You, my child, are like a plant planted by the rivers, and you will never run dry. Right? You, my child, are not created to suffer. So, it's really that truth. Right? It's also transcending everything that is false about you. Whether it's what people said or how people treated you, and the narratives and the stories that you told yourself about that. Redefining your story, because your soul trusts you to do that. Right? If you're like, I didn't grow up with parents, the truth is I was never alone. So you transcend that. I have felt abandonment. I have felt betrayal. Oh, I forgive. They were in their own insecurities, in their own limited self. I do not have to keep carrying this pain, this trauma with me. I forgive, I release. Because that's what your divine self would do. I was not given love, so now I will know how to give love. I was betrayed, I will know what trust means. I was misunderstood, I will open myself up to understanding other people. I was discriminated, I will tolerate. This is a journey of stepping more into your truth and releasing the false self. You can't come with me. You can't come with me because you are not relevant for the life that I deeply desire, for the life that I'm praying for where my business is taking me, for where the wealth that I'm meant to create is taking me. Some of the pain, some of the trauma, some of the distortions cannot come with you. And so see it as a beautiful journey of like, I am returning to me. That's it. Oprah Winfrey could have stayed a victim, guys. We wouldn't know her. Jack Ma could have decided that, yes, indeed, I am not a smart child. We wouldn't have AliExpress. I've had a beautiful story. I like to watch people's interviews a lot. Do this also for you to start giving yourself permission to tap more into wealth. Read a lot of bios and listen to interviews where sometimes you get to hear someone's journey, like that story, not just seeing that glory, like that story. I remember I once watched an interview and I had Pearl Tusi, who's a South African celebrity. She was talking about how there was a time when she was young, pregnant, and didn't have food. I was like, this girl could have stayed with this guilt and shame of being pregnant and young, but wow, did she not break all the rules and become a wealthy woman. So that return to your true self and trust and believe that, and so it is, it'll be done. Your desires are worthy and God loves you, and your God self is so powerful. Return to your divinity. Okay. Let me know what comes up for you as you're going to be watching, and #replay. If you have any aha moments, I really appreciate it if you share in your stories so that more people can know about this challenge. And your assignment today, very simple. Your assignment today, hi Mtikazi. Your assignment today is going to be, what is the highest amount of money I have held? What is the highest amount of money I have held? Could be in your bank account. And what does that mean to me? What is the highest money I have held, I have interacted with? And what does this mean for me? Also, you can even explore, so how did that money come about? And just journal, right? The highest amount of money you have held and what it means to you. And let me know. I would love to know. Any amount. It would be so interesting. Inbox me if you're shy. Okay? Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you again tomorrow. You are amazing. Blessings, blessings, warrior. Thank you, thank you. I am super grateful that every day you guys motivate me and show me that, wow, this work is powerful. I receive messages and I'm just so grateful. I am so grateful, and I encourage you to also keep being that light for other people as well. Okay, see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. Day 4 of Wealth Consciousness Challenge. Bye.